And welcome back to the Dog Bowl Food Truck. I think, after getting some sleep, I have decided that this is more worrying than it is, well, alluring, shall we say. Simply because Duke is an old meth head. However, up to this point, right here, I personally do not take issue with it. If things progress beyond this, then we got a problem. But as far as I'm concerned, we walked in and it described how Leo looked like he'd been hit a few times. Duke was crazy. The bear was crazy. Like everybody. So right now, Leo having a bit of get even on Duke, we're fine. If things progress, we'll see. While Leo's voice is a little disturbing, it's almost comforting to have him throw his weight around after how the weasel had threatened us. Kudzu, on the other hand, doesn't look comforted at all. He's still trembling from the earlier fight, and he's pulling at the fur on his chin as he watches Leo. Man, and that's something to think about. Kudzu, you know, we don't know the full story, but we do know that Kudzu's husband died on the street that they lived on due to some, quote, idiot with a gun. So now, I mean, with all this, uh, I can't imagine what it would be like to be Kudzu in this situation. Careful, Leo. Let's just take him into the cops or something. Kudzu looks over his shoulder at the door. Going to Peyton was probably a better idea, now that I realized how messed up everyone is. Yeah. I mean, if that monster they're all talking about isn't real, would have been better to risk that than get involved with these individuals. Or with these idiots. And that's something else I want to ask real quick. I feel okay. So, from what I understand, and I mentioned this earlier, but Leo's route was supposed to touch on everybody else's route, from what I understand. And playing through Carl's route, we get we don't get anything from Leo aside from hey, hang out with me more, and Leo's rage issues. But in both routes so far, we get touch on TJ freaking the hell out and running away. We touch on Jenna being under a lot of stress and something happening at her house. Carl, we know what happens to Carl, and now we're here presently on Leo learning what happens to him. There's one character that, we haven't really discussed, and that's Flynn. So call me crazy, but is Flynn the monster? I don't know. I feel like with everything that's been laid out, I think Flynn is the monster. Hadn't even thought about the supposed thing keeping everyone from leaving the town. Seems silly now that we'd let a stupid story like that keep us here. Leo doesn't seem to be listening. You're a fucking lunatic, Duke. Why shouldn't I just kill you right now? Leo! Leo looks over his shoulder at us, finally shaking his head at Kudzu conspiratorial. I can't say that word very well. That's actually one of those words that I have a hard time saying. Conspirat conspiratorially. Kudzu goes silent as Leo goes back to staring down at the weasel. Now explain to us what the hell is going on. Leo leans in closer with his bloody muzzle. Duke cringes back. Tell the truth and maybe I'll let you go. Leo glances at me. I won't kill you at least. He's trying to make it clear to me that he's just trying to scare Duke. At least that's what I hope he's doing. I already explained! Duke's eyes dart back and forth between us. The way he's kicking his feet around with a high-pitched, whiny voice makes me think of a child. A really ugly, malnourished child. I still feel a little bad for him, though. Remind me, because I was a little fucking distracted. Kudzu sidles up next to me and sets his hand on my shoulder. You want to watch the door? I touch hand in acknowledgement and turn around to face the door. I don't really think Brian's going to be coming back, though. I told you something bad's happening and we need to figure out what. Yeah. Well, how do you think how did kidnapping us help anything? Duke sighs deeply and I glance over my shoulder to see him slumping in defeat. Last time this happened, it might have been caused by a murder. Not the murder, but that the guy got away with the murder. There's a moment of silence. Okay. Leo's tone demands that Duke go on. So the guilt from the guy, or the worry in the town, or just spirits, heck, I don't know. Maybe all of that. But it came together to make everything go crazy. Okay, sure. But how does this have anything to do with us? I saw the otter sneaking around town before you say he got here. I look back again and see Duke looking at me. So is Leo. Seemed kind of fishy to me, so I thought he might have something to do with it all. It's my only lead. Leo doesn't respond this time. I look back again and see that he's still looking at me. What is it? You told me yourself, Leo. You saw him sneaking around too. It was someone else. How the hell do you know that? What are you guys talking about? Kudzu, can you watch the door? I finally turn around. Leo leans one hand on the back of Duke's chair as he sighs. If you remember, Chase, I told you about how I thought I saw someone out my window that looked like you. Leo turns his glare back onto Duke. Got drunk with this asshole and accidentally told him about it too. But we both saw it. Isn't that a little bit strange? Same otter came by the town that looked like Chase? What the hell else was it? There's some, not same. Jeez, I cannot read. Why am I doing this? I can't read. You know what? I should become an e-girl. Are you ready, guys, for my e-girl era? Jesus, fucking kill me if I ever do that. Leo glances back at me, and I feel like there's some doubt in his eyes. I mean, you weren't here, right? Of course I wasn't. I know, I'm just making sure. Leo turns back to Duke. Why would you mean it? Why would that mean anything anyway? Duke looks around, visibly clenching his toes. I've heard stuff about doubles, like doppelgangers or something. Doppelgangers? Sure, but people talk about that shit happening back then, seeing themselves and stuff. Okay, so if we believe that shit, why would it mean he has anything to do with anything? Well, my grandpappy said that the guy that did it was in 2 or 3 places at once sometimes. There's a moment of silence as we all absorb that bit of information. Sounds like a load of shit to me, Duke. Duke jumps up in his seat. I'm just telling you what I know. So what's your solution to all of this then? I don't know. It stopped when they got the guy. Duke cowers in the chair, then glances at me. Leo follows his gaze and his eyes turn steely. Duke seems to notice Leo's sudden change in demeanor, but before he can do anything, he gets a massive slap from the wolf. Okay, we're bridging. Remember how I said if things progress? Okay, we're starting to progress. We can still walk this back. Oh, God. We can still walk this back. Leo, stop it! Duke immediately starts sobbing again and curls on himself. Me? This fucker wants to get at Chase! It did seem that way. Did Duke think the only way to stop all the problems in this town was to kill me? Duke. Kudzu tries a different approach, his voice much gentler than Leo's. At least it should be gentler, but I have to really flex my chest to get Kudzu's voice. The problem with your theory is that Chase hasn't killed anyone. Right, Chase? Of course not. Of course not. So, maybe we need to rethink things a little, huh? Or maybe you can do that in a fucking jail cell. We're going back to get my van, then we're gonna get the hell out of here. If we can. I'm still not sure about that thing the mayor was talking about. What thing? Monster or something. The mayor told us it's killing people that are trying to leave. Leo stares. Has the town really gone that fucking insane? And again, this is the part that makes me think that maybe this monster is, one, real, and two, is Flynn. Because if you remember in Carl's route, this might be me taking several leaps of logic here, but if Jenna's house was burning down, and Jenna is related to John Begay, and Jenna also has a sibling, then that would theoretically mean that there would have been a burning house with a fox running around it. And if you remember in the cabin in Carl's route, they had to go towards the fire. There was also, as they were leaving the house, which Carl's house is at the edge of town, something was chasing them. Something was, it said it sounded like slithering almost, which again, you don't really get a slithering sound unless you got scales, right? So then, the other thing is, there's this constant mention of like somebody on all fours that was way back in the pre-route split during one of Chase's dream sequences. So I really I'm until I'm proven otherwise, I'm gonna go forward with the theory that Flynn is the monster. That his hysteria has got something to do with being the, I don't know, the Sydney's executor, not executioner, but executor, because, it sounds cooler and all. But, we'll figure that out when we figure that out. For now, let's continue. Kudzu shrugs. There were bodies. Jesus. Leo looks around. Well, this still sounds like bullshit, but if there is anything, we'll be fine if we leave in my car. The motel is closer. We can use my car instead. Sure. Duke is still staring at me with a hard look. I get the feeling that despite all of the things we just told him, he's not buying it. Leo oh, I almost did a problem again. I almost said Leo almost walls the heasel. Leo hauls the weasel off the chair, gaining a little squeak of pain from Duke as he's forced to break eye contact with me. What about the others? We're gonna try to find everyone we can before we leave, but the priority is getting ourselves to a police station. Leo pulls me to stand in front of him before gesturing at Kudzu. Gotta take the gun. Safety's off now. Kudzu visibly frowns as I hand it to him. Yeah, sorry about that. I want chase between us. I don't trust these fuckers not to try anything, especially if Brian comes back. So with Kudzu leading the way, we make our way out of Brian's house and into the night. It's quieter this time around as we head out onto the deserted night street. Seems like things have settled a little, at least. Kudzu's fur is still bristled out on the back of his neck. I'm starting to worry about him. He's been tense, even considering the situation we're in. Keep your eyes peeled anyway. Of course. I've also been sensing a strange sort of tension between the two of them. It can probably be put up to the situation currently at hand, though. We're all on edge. I could see the motel a ways down the road, but ominously the lights are all out. Duke has gone quiet for the most part. I wonder if he's just given up or if he's planning something. Hopefully it's the former. I'm not really seeing anything out of the ordinary here. Trust me, things are fucked up. We pass the diner in the moonlight, glinting softly off its metal edges. A dark, sick feeling sets in as I stare at the black windows. That's where it all started. Should we check to see if she's still there? Leo's quiet behind me for a moment, then clears his throat. Don't see why we need to do that. I don't know, to tell the cops about it or something? If the cops haven't been there, then I'm sure she's still there. No use looking inside. Alright. Hey, it's gonna be okay, alright? Not for Janice. Leo doesn't say anything to that as we continue down the road, finally reaching the motel parking lot. This is a funny moment to interject this, but so in the Echo Discord server, everybody gave themselves funny titles. I say funny. Them some thirsty motherfuckers. Like, dear God, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to chill in that server. But that being said, I gave myself the title of Echo Motel Lifeguard. Get it? Because there's no pool. Keep moving. I look behind me and see that Duke stopped, still looking back at the diner. I see something. What? Kudzu stops too and looks back at us. Something. I look at the diner, but I see nothing moving in the windows or in front of it. It's way too dark to see anything in there anyway. Leo prods at Duke's back, but the weasel refuses to move, rooted to the spot. Am I gonna have to carry you? Leo lets go of Duke for just a moment, reaching up to turn him around, probably to throw the weasel over his shoulder. But before he can do that, Duke screams long and loud, and it raises all the hairs on the back of my neck. Before Leo can stop him, the weasel takes off into the night, away from the diner, toward a grouping of trees and bushes on the side of the road. Leo curses and immediately goes after him. Kudzu starts to follow. Don't follow me! Wait by the car! Leo shouts over his shoulder, before disappearing into the brush. Then more faintly, and watch Jace! Kudzu and I stare into the darkness, listening to the two of them crash through the brush before fading out into silence. After a few moments, Kudzu rubs his head and turns to me. Well, I guess we should get to the car then. I frown, not really worried that Duke can do much to Leo, but rather that they'll run into someone that could. Shouldn't be that hard to catch him. He's in handcuffs. Duke can be fast when he wants to be. Fuck. I feel like we should have gone with him. I keep staring into the darkness of the brush, and Kudzu puts a hand on my shoulder as he passes. Don't worry. Leo can take care of himself. Especially when he's up against someone like Duke. A handcuffed Duke. Yeah. Reluctantly, I follow the raccoon. Leo's brief presence had been so strong and reassuring, it's kind of jarring to be without it again. And at the same time, though, it's not all that different with Kudzu. Leo's just more overpowering with it, I guess. I fish my keys out of my pocket, then suddenly realize where we're at. Hey, we should check our room. Jenna or TJ might be in there. Maybe even some of the others. Kudzu looks at the dark motel, scanning the rows of doors. Yeah, but I think we should wait for Leo. I don't really trust anyone right now. I realize he's implying that one of my friends could have gone insane too. I also realize that I can't blame him. From what I saw and what I've heard, TJ might be acting the same way as Duke. That thought causes my stomach to churn sickly. Listen, I gotta pee real quick, okay? Okay. So, between Kudzu and Toaster, is this just a raccoon thing? Do y'all just have like a natural diuretic in your bloodstream or something? I'm just gonna go over behind that corner. He points over to the side of the motel. Look, dude, at this point, the town's gone to hell. Fuck modesty. Just go. Like, this thing is a U shape, right? Just go into the corner. I don't like this. This is how bitches die. No problem. I'm getting just a little annoyed that everyone is acting like I'm a little kid that needs to be watched. Cool. Be right back. Kudzu does a little jog away before disappearing around the corner. I lean back against the door of the car, swinging the keys around on a finger. It's completely quiet now, and I haven't heard a single gunshot since we got outside. I wonder if everyone that's been fighting is dead now. Or maybe they just realized how ridiculous the mayor's story was and left. Thinking about the supposed monster that I definitely don't believe in, though, has me looking over my shoulder into the darkness. Images of a hanging body cross my mind. Shit. I look over to where Kudzu went. It's been a little while. Shouldn't he be done by now? A pop from the brush across the street makes me jump. Leo? My voice comes out in a whisper. There's definitely something there. Its form stands out just a shade darker than the trees behind it. It might be a bush, but it looks thin, like a person. I squint at it, and that's when I see the glint of two eyes in the darkness. I freeze. Whoever it is, they're not responding to me, and that's definitely not a good sign. I decide that I'm just not going to move until Kudzu gets here. Yeah, and if it does move, I'll just run over to where Kudzu went. I don't think he'll mind me catching him with his pants down if there's a fucking psychopath chasing after us. I see a thick tail swish out to the side of the dark thing. Slowly I feel behind myself for the keyhole to the car door, sliding the key in and unlocking it. Actually, I'll just get in the car and... Footsteps to my right. Duke, his eyes wild, is on me in an instant. He slams into me so hard that I'm sent to the asphalt with an impact that rattles my brain. I roll over groggily and see Duke bent over, his hands fumbling at the ground. Somehow he's moved his handcuffed hands from behind himself to the front. I realize that I don't have my keys anymore. At the same time, Duke stands up, keys in hand. Kudzu! I yell and reach for Duke, who dodges away, throwing some kicks at me before yanking open my car door. Fuck! I lunge for the handle, but I see the weasel slam down the lock just as I reach it. Kudzu comes running around the corner just as Duke starts up the car. Duke! I shout uselessly. And my volume is going down, thanks for that. I shout uselessly at Kudzu as Duke peels out, yanking the handle from my grasp and forcing me to hop back a step to stop from being run over. Of course, I think that Duke's just going to take off down the road and get the hell out of Echo. I have no idea that he's going to turn sharply in the parking lot and come straight for me. Chase! Kudzu screams at me just 20 feet away now, but there's no time. The car is coming at me. I jump to the left, but Duke easily follows my movement. I see the license plate and the headlights, which Duke hasn't turned on. I jump and land on the hood of the car as it hits me. I feel like my body is falling through air. I see the stars and the moon. Then I land. The desert stretches and winds into the distance, rising and falling with the mountains, hills, and valleys. It's endless, monolithic, passionless, except here. Its mark is clear on the land, like a stain, a blemish in the beige patchwork of the wilderness. The earth's bad, the air's bad, everything's tainted. Tainted. The mark is old, it's ancient. Been here longer than people. All people. And they knew it too. Everyone who's been here knows it. So do you. Even though you're not from here. You were drawn to the stain, like all the other evil that's planted itself here. You can see it right through the otter's eyes. You can see its influence stretch above you, like black tendrils into the dark red sky. They stretch, search, reach for anything alive to stain anything they touch. So it is. So it will always be. Chase! I stare groggily up at the face above me. A swirling mess of gray and black before I'm able to focus on the nose just inches from my mouth. That crosses my eyes, which hurts, so I close them again. Jace! The voice is gentler this time, though no less concerned. I try to reach my hand up to assure whoever it is that I'm fine. I feel the soft, velvety sensation of an ear catch between my fingers, and the person above me stills. What happened? Are you guys okay?